Welcome once again to Minions and Misfits, an actual play TTRPG kapapakapaka.
You okay?
Take it from the top.
She had a stroke. It's okay. It's all on air.
I do voice acting, I promise. Well, off kilter. Did I forget to say what's off kilter? We play Minions and Misfits. Instead of your normal schmancy heroes, we play the goobers and the losers and the side characters, the background characters to your D&D adventures. But we use all kinds of systems. Anyway, I am joined, as always, by my lovely co-hosts, Dylan.
Hello. I sound terrible today.
But we are so glad you're here. Camp.
Saw everybody.
Saw. And Sam.
Hey guys, good to be here. Excited to be recording again. So far, so good.
The energy
They told
is
us.
all
They told
over
us
the
to
place.
play what we knew, so we played a bunch of idiots.
That's the tagline for the show.
Pretty much. Oh boy. Well, for today's little warm-up before we jump into the chapter, have another question corner for you. Cue the classical music. Oh wait, did I say who I am? I mean, if you're listening to this, you've hopefully listened to a previous episode, but I'm Rebecca
You're
Evans.
the star.
Please
Not
don't
just
start
jumping
an episode
into
two.
not just jumping into the middle of a random season.
This is episode 3.
Yeah, I would
This is
recommend
episode 2, isn't it?
starting
3. Oh, it
at a
is 3,
start.
yeah.
This is episode 3.
Maybe you're some crazy person who likes to jump into the middle of a book and just go for it. I don't know why you would do that with a podcast, especially, but you do
Better
you.
a podcast than a book, I suppose.
But
Can this chapter be named Don't Start Here?
maybe we'll find out if
And
it
then the next
fits.
one is or here.
Oh boy. Okay, so question corner time. To
Yes.
flesh out our lovely Pearls field, yesterday? It wasn't yesterday. Last time we talked about some who's of Pearls field. Now let's talk about some wheres. I want us
Some whats?
each. That'll be
Ooh,
next
some
time.
wheres.
This is where in Pearls field. I want us each to come up with a different location for Pearls Field. We've already seen the Goat's Head, the premier tavern of Pearls Field. We've already seen the abandoned mine, which is basically just one
A cave.
room.
Yonder in
and
the
then they
abandoned
gave up.
mine.
And we've seen the parsonage.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's come up with some new locations.
It's actually harder than coming up with people.
It's much harder than coming with people. I came up with the cave.
I feel like
You did,
if
you
we have a
did.
parsonage, we have to have a church, right?
Yeah, or a temple, a place of worship, a pow, if you will. Place
Come
of
to
worship.
chow. I need to find a cool word here. I'm going to look up the synonyms for church and
Yep.
see what interesting words, because
What different words are there for places of worship?
Tabernacle?
We've got tabernacle, synagogue, mosque, all very branded ones, just like church.
Yeah,
the house
yeah
of
people
prayers. It says
people
Kirk.
stick their claim on those ones.
The Kirk.
The Kirk
The
is
Kirk.
good.
My father-in-law?
That one's also somewhat branded.
Yeah, but like
I
it's
guess
old.
less so.
But it is branded.
Yeah, significantly
It's-
less branded, but still branded.
Is branded by the Presbyterians.
Old. Dadgum Presbyterians.
Those silly presbys.
Presbyters got a presbyter.
I kind of like just the chapel. Kind of cute
Yeah.
and quaint.
That's
It's
what a lot
also
of
branded,
like,
but light.
and that's what like a lot of like college campuses will use is chapel because it's like faith agnostic essentially,
Yeah.
just a place of worship.
Sure. So tell us about the chapel, Sam.
I imagine it's one of the older buildings in Pearlsfield. It was one of the original ones made there, and so it kind of has this nice stone look. It's a bit more sturdy than a lot of just the little huts and small houses.
What are you talking about? Everything is great in Pearlsfield. But yeah, it's stone. All stone, not partial wood.
Yeah, with definitely a few tiny, albeit preciously made stained glass windows.
Oh.
wooden pews on the inside. What we would consider probably the closest we could, the closest religion would be, something in the high church.
Catholicism, perhaps.
Yeah, Catholicism or Anglicanism.
Same vibes.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware. I apologize to Catholics
Elizabeth
and
the
Anglicans.
First would disagree. But, Elizabeth the First would disagree, but that's okay.
I'm pretty sure there was a lot of fighting over the fact that they are in fact not the same vibes.
I apologize to the entire Catholic Church and Anglican Church around the world.
Although Henry VIII actually died thinking he was a good Catholic, his argument was that the
Pope was wrong.
He's like, I want to get divorced.
That was basically the argument, yeah.
I want a new wife. I'm still a Catholic, but this is the English Catholic Church, is what he would say.
He said, gimme.
It was
I do what I want.
Coincidentally, another big factor in the 30 Years' War.
Oh, yeah.
Just an absolutely fascinating time in European history.
Well, on that note, what's another building?
So I've got a goofy one.
Yes.
And this one also kind of comes with a person also. So it's the town barber.
Ooh.
I don't think it has like a specific name. It probably just says like barber on a painted sign.
Haircuts.
Maybe with like a wooden pole painted in red and white stripes.
Yeah.
I don't know when that became a thing, but
We'll say it happened here in Pearlsfield.
It's a D&D-esque world, so it's a weird mishmash of different times. We've got Austen, we've got medieval.
Would it be one of those barbershops that's also a dentist and also a grocery store and also
so that's where I was going. So it's also the town doctor. It's owned and operated by a man known simply as Dr. Haircut.
Can he be a Goliath?
Yes, he can be a Goliath.
With tiny glasses?
Mm-hmm. I'm picturing...
He doesn't have hair because he's a Goliath.
Yeah, I'm picturing Dave Bautista in Blade Runner 2049, where he's got his tiny little glasses on.
This is perfect.
Fantastic. Tell us what's the building like, even if it's just kind of the
building
energy.
is, yeah. It definitely gives Barberly vibes.
Barberly.
It's a wooden building, single story, probably a thatched roof. Well kept. I mean, because it's the only place in town where you can get your wounds tended to and your hair cut
simultaneously.
Yeah, so I mean, it's well taken care of. The building is. I'm sure the well-to-do types like to make sure that it's, they invest in it, make sure that it looks good, make sure that Dr. Haircut has what he needs to doctor and haircut.
That name so much.
For sure. Probably a nice paving stones out front and flower boxes. They've invested in getting the roof shingled soon.
Yeah.
Waiting on the shingler to finish their current project. Back up.
It's sort of a town like in joke. Whenever a new person comes to town, they always ask, when they meet Dr. Haircut, they always ask, is that his real name? And somebody goes, I don't know, maybe he was born with it.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
There we go.
I love it. Dylan,
Can
do
Dr.
you have one
Haircut
cooking?
also be like a
I do
trained
have one.
psychiatrist? So like, there's also a little.
We've already
a little
established
dance.
that
he psychoanalyzes people while they're in a
Freudian
barber chair.
psychologist.
We've already
I like to think
established
that there's
there's no mental health care professionals, but he could be a mental health
Mental health care
Detrimental.
amateur professional.
He's a titan in the trade.
Wow.
I like to think that he has a little menu out front that says, like therapy session $20, haircut $10, checkup $90, like something like that. Like we're just all these random
Any
things.
two $50.
Yeah.
Right, stitches buy one get one free.
My building
Free haircut
is,
with the psychoanalysis.
So
Yeah,
it's
you
just like,
you
what
just
if
lay on the couch?
Give me
what
some
if I
good
only need
trauma
one
dumping
stitch? And he
it's
just
free.
holds the scissors up to him. It's just like, what if you only need one stitch?
How does this make you feel?
Okay, your building.
My
Dylan.
building is the Pearlsfield Bank, known as Pearlsfield Holdings and Financial Corp.
Oh,
It is a lovely marble building has the standard pillars. Think Gringotts, but less fantasy. And it has just one enormous vault right behind the main desk.
Nice.
I have a banker. Can I propose a banker?
Yes.
Ebenezer Scourge. A dragonborn banker.
Yes! And he only speaks like super dramatically, but then it's just like, and here's your check.
And
your change, sir.
Your check
The
and
pen
your
is
change.
mightier than the sword. You can sign
Also,
your
our
bills.
pens are chained to the counter. You will not steal them.
Which
If you want to spend your money, you better do it and decrease the surplus population.
in D&D, it's red dragons that hoard gold.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's a red dragonborn.
Amazing. I'm going to do one too. I'm going to go with the constabulary. Constabulary. 'Cause it's not the
Constabulary.
watch, it's the constabulary. I feel like I'm...
Constabulary?
Constabulary. I don't know.
Constabulary.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Well, that building...
No one bother looking it up. It's okay.
It's also one of the oldest buildings in Pearlsfield. It's an old fort that's been repurposed. Things are much more peaceful. Perhaps this was... I think Pearlsfield was once on the outskirts of this kingdom and is now...
Almost certainly.
Now it's expanded far past, and there's not really...
fairly central.
Yeah, there's not really a need for a fort out here, but it's a cool old stone building on the outside, but on the inside they've like whitewashed the walls. It's very neat. You know, they keep it nice and clean and prim and proper, and even the holding cells are kept fairly clean and bright. It's really a very pleasant place. The outside is a bit intimidating, but it's much more like the kind of stereotypical sort of British police officer vibe of not like of a more friendly and helpful than threatening.
Does he have a funny hat?
The bubbies.
The bobbies. I think we do need a funny hat. The head of the constabulary, I know Sam had an idea of a head of the constabulary that was a lion folk, and so in my head the head constable is this just leonin or what have you, just this lion man, and he has a funny little hat that he has to have the chin strap because it won't stay on his maned head.
I love that.
And he speaks, he's a very gentlemanly sort, but he's always making sure
Very proper.
Protect the citizens of Pearlsfield and, help resolve
how
conflicts
long has he been in this
between the
position?
citizens. I think for about a decade. He's been at it for a while. He's got some gray in his whiskers, just a little bit. And I think he's fairly well beloved because he really is in it for the community,
Can, like
Do we
you
have
said,
a running list of NPCs? Because I feel like we're going to need to keep track of these.
Yeah,
we're going to keep.
Yeah,
We're gonna have to do this.
We should add a tab to the
for
play
reals.
document.
I will
might
say,
do that
when I was thinking about the
do it.
Leonin constable, in my mind, that because lions can actually make expressions, as we saw in the new Lion King, whether he was really happy or really
don't.
upset, he would always have the same face. Like, you can't tell, but I'm thrilled right now. Like, just
Yes.
straight face. I don't know if that plays to an audio medium, but in my mind,
I picture him looking kind of like Ron Perlman's Beauty and the Beast.
Oh gosh.
I don't know that.
yeah, you lost me there.
Someone in the audience went, yeah, that, but not us.
Me
alas.
and that person are bros.
Nice. Well, now that we have some more places for our scenes to be set, let's hop in to the third chapter of Pearlsfield. Chapter 3, Table Setting. So, when we last left off, we had been doing our novel phase, doing a visitation chapter,
Oh, that's right.
visiting several little scenes between folks visiting one another, and I wanted to make sure, because we
Mine
had...
was stressful.
Yours was very stressful. For you, I thought it was great. But we had a lot of letters before then, and I wanted to make sure if anyone else had any little scenes that they wanted to cover before we move to the next phase of play.
I'm good personally.
All right.
I do think
Bless you.
after his interaction with Georgiana, Niles may write a letter to Frederick.
Oh, shoot.
Ooh. Well, you have to save that for the epistolary
Yeah, that's for the
phrase.
epistolary phrase. That's not a visitation. Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking letters. Never mind.
Yes, we will have another epistolary phase, I think, before the cycle
I forgot.
ends.
Oh, shoot.
I forgot to tell you guys.
Then. Hang on.
So cut to Niles at his writing table, and he is about to put pen to paper, and he realizes, oh, it's not writing time. And he kind of puts the pen back in the inkwell, and then walks away.
Everyone knows there's a writing time.
He touches the pen to the paper, and what's the friar's name, or the
Father
parson?
Phineas.
Yeah, Father Phineas just calls for him to do something random. Niles, it's time for my sponge bath.
This is your fifth today.
My third of the day, but I have to give a eulogy tonight.
Yeah, coming, Father.
But a couple
Thank
things
you, Miles.
I will also remind y'all of is to remember that you have a monologue token, which you can use on any character.
Yeah.
Well, maybe just main characters, but I say any character at any time. And but we also have, with our rumors and scandals, there is an attached token.
Could you remind me how the monologue token functions?
The monologue token, each person has just one. You, at any time, you chuck it at somebody, metaphorically.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah! And they have
You
to do...
force them to tell you something that they're thinking.
You sly dog, you got me monologuing. Except it's not sly, you just tell them to monologue.
Okay.
So let's say we wanted to hear the inner monologues, the inner thoughts of our dear Frederick Worthington.
Okay, so it's just where's their brain at the moment kind of a thing. Okay.
Yeah. Like we see
Hey,
Freddy
so
get
you
back
got any
to the garden.
evil plans going on right now? You mind telling me about them?
Gotcha.
Sort of, yeah. But you can be all cryptic and stuff with his
Cool.
monologue. Yeah, so there's that one. And then there are resolve tokens attached
Yes.
to all of our scandals. Everything that has the spread box checked, you can spend that token to change the story in some way.
Yeah, and I've got an
in
extra one
regards
hanging
to
around
that.
here, so I'm ready to spend.
And you can spend those to add new things to the world, change something, make sure something happens. Like you're like, actually, I want Georgiana to be there. I'm going to spend a token and now she's here. Or I want Vlad to have been overhearing this conversation. I'm spending this coin. But if you spend it to affect a main character in a negative way or to have them do something, you have to negotiate with the player and give them your token.
Perfect.
Yes. All right. Okay.
This has nothing to do with anything, but I had a random brainworm the other day where I couldn't stop thinking about Ready Freddy being short for Rhetoric Frederick.
And there's our episode title.
And I completely forgot that we had a character on the podcast named Frederick, so now it made me think about it again.
Frederick, here I am.
Rhetoric, Frederick.
Are we going to be writing letters this phase? Because I got to start brainstorming those if that's the case.
We actually, next is a reputation phase, and then there's another epistolary phase.
Oh, man. Okay, I'll be thinking about some letters while we do reputation stuff. Yep,
It feels like a lot to go back to more letters before we have more scenes, but that's what we're going to do. So I guess let's
Maybe
dive
we'll
in.
have fewer letters this time.
Yes. The thing is, you may write 2 letters. You do not have to.
I don't think
and
I
you
have
can
any
also
immediate
just
ones.
do them off the cuff and make them really short. Both of those
Well,
things are options.
we know that someone wants to write a letter, so...
I got 2 ready.
Frederick sends a letter to Georgiana that just says, "You up?"
Okay. All right. Let's head into the reputation phase.
Oh boy, this is where it gets wild.
Da-da-da. It's time to
Rumor and
assess our... No, we only have one of
No,
those
not
per
that.
cycle.
Okay.
So we're going to do
That's a
reputation
separate thing
phase.
for reputation.
Yes,
That's right.
They are 2
it's
separate
been a while.
phases. So we're going to assess our character's behavior against reputation criteria, create reputation tags, trigger reputation conditions, and remove reputation conditions if they have been used. So let's do that. Okay.
Who goes first?
Who goes first?
Well,
I can look at my conditions. I got them right here. Let's see.
A lot of them are similar.
Yeah, the last one's a different one, right?
Yeah.
Denied your desires or made a sacrifice to uphold the family name.
Ooh.
Shamed or embarrassed the family name. I don't think I've done either of those, have I?
I don't think so, because you were in private.
Yeah.
It's not great that you stood up your
Nothing's
fiance, but that's
known.
also private.
Yeah, just her and my mom know.
Yeah. If your mom even.
That's true. Yeah, I don't think I've done... I think I'm neutral on my reputation right now.
What's the third one?
Third?
Yeah.
Is there a third?
Yeah, I think aren't there usually 3 things? 2 that are common and 1 that's different, and there's positive and negative ones?
I only wrote the one that was special because the rest were everywhere else. Acted in the service of duty or morality in a way that compromised your desires. Acted in obedience to society's conventions despite considerable hardship, or denying desires or made a sacrifice to uphold.
Nope.
Yeah.
What about those
None of
negative
these.
ones?
Negatives.
So again, you were in secret, but still, let's check on that.
Yeah. Acted in contravention to society's conventions. Acted on a desire in a way that compromised your duty or morality. That might be one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we might look at giving you a negative tag.
I might be getting a negative tag.
think we should give you a negative
I would
tag. I think
argue
that's
that I
fine.
did act on a desire in a way that compromised my duty or morality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are the negative tag options for your background, I believe?
Let's find out.
Should have had y'all open up that PDF before we started
Yeah,
recording.
I'm pulling it up as we speak. Yeah.
Oopsie doopsie.
I have my stuff ready, I think, if you want to.
Yeah, I'll find mine while you do yours. Yeah.
So last time, because I gained a positive tag, I'm known as kind and devoted.
Wow, look at
Yay.
you.
I know, and then my negative tag remained out of touch. And to be honest, I feel like he only acted positively because he tried to cover his butt in the scandal by writing to the leapfrogs to make amends. He, even with Georgiana, he did not take advantage of her vulnerability. He acted very gentlemanly, even though he didn't have to. He also didn't backstab his brother, even though he could have been wise to do so. So I don't think he did any. He didn't even display public strong emotions publicly.
That's
like
true.
he very much played it very even keel. He complained a little bit about the old man, but not to anybody, like just to himself. And so I guess that'd be positive. I mean, it'd be positive or neutral and nothing at all. What would
Yeah.
you say, coordinator, facilitator?
Facilitator. Yeah,
Facilitator.
I think the general ones are like some hardship and personal struggle. What's your specific clergy for a positive tag? What's your requirement?
So for a positive tag, I acted in a service or duty. I acted in the service of duty or morality in a way that compromised my desires, which I think he did so by supporting.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
And then acted in obedience to society's conventions despite considerable hardship in doing so. Kind of, not significant like physical or economic hardship, but emotional hardship, you could say. Made a sacrifice or denied your own desires to help others. He definitely did that one.
Yeah.
So
Alright,
would I circle another thing then?
That means, yeah, we're going to get you a third positive tag. And
Oh,
then I
man.
believe that triggers a condition.
He's such a good
Ooh.
boy.
Such a good boy.
Would he would not be charismatic.
Nope.
He might be moral or knowledgeable. He charisma is definitely
Probably
not his.
moral.
That's my strong suit. It's not. Yeah.
Nope.
I think
Niles.
moral. I think he's known for being moral.
Yeah.
Like he
Yeah.
is the good
Yeah.
guy.
And he's
So
helping.
His attempts to mend things with the leapfrogs.
Yeah, I think kind, moral, and devoted.
Yeah, and he's setting things up for that. His plans with Georgiana to do sewing lessons and use the resulting completed projects
Yeah.
to give to the poor or do a fundraiser or something like that.
Yeah. Plus, he takes care of an old man in his free time. So
With my negative tag options, I've got old-fashioned, miserly, overbearing, self-obsessed, and tasteless.
Nice.
Overbearing is the one I currently have. I think self-obsessed would probably be the next one, right?
Yeah, I think that sounds good. I think that sounds
yeah,
right.
it sounds right up my alley, I think. All right, adding self-obsessed to my reputation tag. I got to get more positive tags, man.
You just got the 2 tags, right?
Yeah, I have 1 positive, 2 negative.
Okay.
Now I have 2 positive, 2 negative.
Wow,
Oh,
look at
man.
Ephraim. So balanced.
Yeah.
I'm riding the line.
Let's find out if you got any more.
Niles, where's your tags? I don't see them on the sheet.
So my positive tags are ambitious and novel,
Mm-hmm.
and my negative tags are dangerous and unfortunate connections.
Accurate.
And
Which I.
my condition.
Oh, go
my
ahead. Go ahead.
conditions are, let's see, secured a personal invitation from someone of higher social status than yourself is my positive criteria, and my negative criteria is presumed to order, instruct, or make a demand of someone of higher rank. I don't think I did either of those things last time.
I don't think so.
If anything, having known weirdo Vlad de Baguette staying at my house may have triggered unfortunate connections, but
Definitely.
Which is definitely the flavor in play.
Oh,
So I think we'll leave
100%.
you with your 4 separate tags for now. I think that's what we'll do.
So many tags.
So
What
many
does the
tags.
condition for the positive tags do? Because
There are 2 different ones, and you can find those on your character roll sheet. So take a look at that, and you get to pick which you want to activate. And then
Oh.
we'll frame a short scene where we see the effects of the reputation condition spring into action.
there are 2 options. There's head of the household, where I'm considered to speak. I'm considered by society to speak for the family. Anyone wishing to deal with the family or arrange
know
a
that's
marriage
not the
comes
one.
to me first. Or family guidance. Your family members seek your advice on all important matters, and if it appears reasonable, will attempt to follow it. It is not the second one.
You don't think it's the second one?
I feel it's more the second one than the first one. I think
Really?
Frederick still values your advice, even if he doesn't respect you in certain areas.
Well, it says that they will attempt to follow it, and in my mind, no one ever follows Niles's advice.
That's if they think it's reasonable.
And that's also, things are changing now.
Yeah.
So something is changing now.
I feel like it's the second one personally.
yeah,
I feel like that one makes
it's
more
definitely
sense.
more the second one than the first one.
But what do you think, Sam? This is your character, and you get to decide. Either way, it's a change in the family dynamics and the dynamics of the town, and we will frame a scene of how that's taking effect.
I kind of honestly like the first one, and here's why.
Okay.
Not exactly, though, but here's what I was thinking. He
There's
is
no father in
basically
the
the
picture
PR.
either. Yeah.
He's basically the PR for the family.
Yeah.
That's
If you
true.
want to talk to the serious person in the family, you talk to Niles.
Yeah.
If you want to actually
It's true.
get some business done, I imagine you probably talk to Niles. You might shake hands with Frederick, but then when it comes to paperwork, Niles does the paperwork. And I don't think for marriage, Frederick would not ask his permission for marriage. I think because it's already happened and everything. But it's coming to a point where, if Frederick is going to make a big decision,
Yeah.
same thing with the mom.
yeah.
It's almost like he's the power of attorney where they need his approval for a big purchase type of thing. What do y'all think of that?
I could
Yeah,
get
that
with
makes sense.
I think it makes sense for him, trying to be more active and take more control. And
Yeah, I think it makes sense
Head
for
of the
his
house?
character too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't think he's not a very good talker, and so he doesn't really offer that much advice. I feel like it kind of has to be pulled out of him. People go to him for it, and he's like, kind of do this maybe. But with the head of the household, I don't know, it makes more sense to me. Is that okay?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
He is the head of the household.
yeah.
Frederick is definitely just a big fat party animal.
Yeah, figurehead more than anything else. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm trying to check.
I'm the Robert Duvall.
It's
to
more
your
like
James
I'm
Caan.
the it's like I'm the eldest son and therefore should be in charge, but really you're the one that does everything.
I'm the Irish lawyer son in this Godfather. You're the older one who gets killed at the
That's true.
traffic stop.
Oh yeah.
I'm trying
Hear that?
to
You're James
check.
Caan.
Because I think the tags go away when they are used to trigger a reputation condition,
What?
but I'm
makes
not
sense.
seeing that
You
here.
spend them to do that.
Yeah, I think
or-
they're spent.
Yeah.
But I don't see that here, so I'm gonna
We'll figure it out
leave
between
it for now,
sessions.
and we'll just do the scene of the head of the household effect taking place. What do you think? Set us up a scene for that, Sam. What does it look like?
Oh man, I might need help being queued up here. I hadn't thought that far.
I
This
imagine
whole
he's-
operation was your idea.
I imagine he's back at the Worthington mansion.
Yeah.
Perhaps somebody in the Leapfrog family is responding to his attempt to make amends by drumming up business with the family.
It would definitely be something that causes conflict with the mother. I imagine that somebody, like, the mother wants to do something, and they're like, well, you need Niles' permission. And she's like, I will never. But it's like, well, actually, legally, you do need Niles' permission. Like, I don't know, something like that.
What day of the week does Niles always go to the Worthington mansion for dinner? Or the estate. I think estate sounds fancier, so we're going with
Estate
estate.
sounds nice. Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Monday to get it over with.
There is no Monday. Sorry. In this world, there is a 5-day week. First day, Tuesday, Thursday, fourth day, and 5th day.
I'd say,
I like it.
When is the chapel service?
Yeah, when do you
First
hold
day.
your services?
First day?
First day.
Oh,
Do you just
man.
go after that, like, and just
I-
like have your best and worst in the same day?
I feel like it's a
You
lot
just go
on one
have
day.
like Sunday lunch at your first
Your parents' house, you know.
Yeah, I feel like, that's the deal. Yeah, he
Probably
probably goes
dinner.
there for dinner. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
So it's family dinner. The first day after they first arrived back in Pearlsfield. And the whole family is seated around the large dining room table. Ephraim is there. Georgiana is there.
Oh, boy.
Is Vlad de Baguette at the
Oh,
party?
please, no.
Ephraim and Fred?
No, I don't think Ephraim would bring Vlad with him the first time he goes to their house.
Are there any other guests?
He's a bit more
Vlad
tactful
acted
than that.
really weird around the chapel for some reason. He didn't. He said he was feeling ill and didn't want to go to the service, and then he was fine. And then we mentioned there was also an evening service, and then he was not fine. Like, it was very
What is
odd.
with all these crosses?
A different holy symbol. This is not Christianity.
Can it be? It's a triangle. It's just a straight up triangle.
It's just Gravity Falls.
It just. Oh no! It's just it's just an arrow pointing up.
Arrow pointing up.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Aren't we calling the god, the deity, the author? Is that what?
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
with? Okay.
Or it could
Yeah.
be a feather. You could say, I don't know,
A pen.
Yeah, I like that.
a pen.
A pen pointing skyward. So it's often
Pen-
just like kind of shorthanded
line.
to an
Just
arrow
stick.
going up. Yeah. World building.
Huzzah!
So it's the family plus Ephraim and Georgiana are all at dinner. What are they eating? Frederick.
Ooh. We got some freshly caught roast boar.
Ooh. Nice. How's the conversation at the table right now?
I feel like Ephraim is just turned on the charm spigot
Yeah, he
while talking
lives it up
to
here.
their mother.
Yeah. 100%.
I feel like it's a long, like, awkward, rich person table. Who's sitting near who? I
What's
feel
the
like
table arrangements?
Frederick would be
next
at
to
the
your
head.
wife.
Yeah, Frederick, and then
No, mother's at the head.
mother is okay. Mother's at the
Yeah.
head. Then what?
I'll be on the right hand of her.
And then Georgiana next to
Nah.
you.
Yeah,
And then
and then
Probably Ephraim.
Is Ephraim
Yeah.
on the other side of mom?
Or is Ephraim
As
sat
opposed to
next
Niles?
to? Is Ephraim sat next to Niles?
no, I think Ephraim is sat next to Niles, who is at the mother's left hand.
Yeah.
Oh.
So Ephraim is sitting across from Georgiana and next to Niles.
Perfect.
Or better yet, so if it's like a 6-person table, it goes at the head of the table is mother, and then to her right is Frederick, to his right is Georgiana, to her right is Ephraim, to Ephraim's right is Niles, to Niles' right is Father Phineas, who he has to kind of feed with a spoon every few minutes. And to his right is the mother again, so it kind of goes around in a
This is perfect.
angle. Yes. Like there's a toddler chair like for
We've nailed
It's a gnome chair,
a gnome chair. Sorry, didn't
which
mean
is
to be
also
offensive.
used by human toddlers, but. So the conversation, like Ephraim's laying on the charm, and Mumsy is.
I feel like Mum loves Ephraim.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
too
yes.
much.
He probably brought her like the last bottle of expensive wine.
You've been handing out the
from
last
the
bottle of
party.
this for a while.
Wink.
Yeah.
Tastes a lot like water.
This is just bubbly water. It's all the rage with mead right now.
They call it seltzer.
For those listening, he then took a sip of his soda. But yes, the conversation is bubbly, and the boar is delicious, and
The conversation's as effervescent as the seltzer water.
and the butler comes in, goes and leans down by Niles's chair, which immediately draws an raised eyebrow from Mumsy, who slowly sets down her glass of mead and watches as the butler, an elderly orcish gentleman, we'll say, leans over and to Niles and says, "Pardon me, my lord. There is a guest here to see you."
Ooh.
Oh, you can tell the tanner that we can do confession later.
Pardon me, my lord, but we always just turn him away automatically at this point. No, this is a one Lord Leapfrog.
Cut to the guardhouse, and there's like just a picture of the tanner pinned up on the wall that says, "Do not let this man enter."
He doesn't confess anything. He just sits there. He just wants the company.
Oh,
Oh, wait, he's like midway through a sip and he kind of like coughs like, "Oh, what?"
Lord Leapfrog.
I see.
Somehow, Mumsy has set her fork down even louder than her glass.
There's an awkward silence.
Ephraim's just
and
like
Niles
midway through a bite, he's just like looking back and forth between them, like just doesn't know what's going on.
Niles
very
just kinda,
quiet.
takes a beat. He's like, "I will be back momentarily."
The chair screeches as Mumsy stands up.
Oh, no, you can be seated. It's fine.
If there is any sort of family business, I believe it would be far more appropriate for me, Reginald, to attend.
Fred looks up from his plate and he's like, "Well, yeah. I mean, she runs everything, doesn't she?"
Pardon me, Lady Worthington, but Niles, Sir Niles, Lord,
Requested
Mr.
by
Niles was specifically requested by name by Lord
Ephraim
Frog.
Ephraim chimes in, kind of reading the room, and it's like, "And Madam Worthington, you wouldn't deny me our sparkling conversation for even a moment tonight, would you?"
There's Ephraim.
She sighs and slowly sits back down, scoots her chair back in, and says, "I'm sure it wasn't anything that important anyway. Take care of it for me, will you, Niles?"
Savage.
I think Niles is still a little bit puzzled. Like, do they need religious advice? Like, he kind of just gets up and you just hear like the pitter patter of his feet kind of like quietly leave the room. And you can like hear a pen drop. It's just like.
You hear the door creak and then slam.
Yeah. And he kind of like brushes off himself. He's just wearing kind of his evening clothes, which are the same as his afternoon and morning clothes. Like just the same thing he was wearing at the party, just a very simple like overcoat with an undercoat and the little white stripes that kind of drape down from his neck, and his hair is back in a ponytail. And he kind of goes into the main foyer or whatever, wherever the welcoming area is.
The sitting room.
The sitting room. Ah, yes.
Mm-hmm. Niles, you are escorted by the butler, Reginald, into the lovely sitting room where Lord Leapfrog is. I gotta also remember that
It's Baron Leapfrog, right?
they said Lord Leapfrog.
Oh, that's right.
But y'all are also not lords and ladies, because that's like a title.
No.
Y'all are Misters and Misses. That's what
I
they would
think
be
that'd be
referred
the
to.
Honorable Mr. or the something like that. I don't know. Something.
You are
No, 'cause-
a reverend, but you're just like the under. You're still trained. I don't know what your title is.
The less honorable. Well, I know it feels like their father might have been a lord, and if your father's a lord in England, you become the honorable or the right honorable.
This isn't England.
I don't know if you want to do that or not, but...
The wrong honorable.
I mean, I guess y'all
Well, I had a
are
friend
the
whose grandfather was a
heirs
lord,
to
and I called her the semi-honorable.
the founder of Pearlsfield, so I guess Lord and Lady would be appropriate for y'all. So, like, Lord would be the one who's the head of this household, and everyone else would just be Mr.
How
Yeah,
are
that
people
tracks.
deemed lord? That's important for this scene.
So, the Worthingtons were given the title of Lord by the monarchy at some point, and that's been passed on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yes, so you are escorted into the sitting room where Lord Leapfrog rises from a plush chair. He is just dressed to the nines. Again, just a frog man. Think like Frog and Toad, those lovely books. But
Those are my childhood, man. I love it.
he has a dark green skin with some brown dapples on his smooth head and a short... No, I don't think that's quite in vogue. But actually bushy. We're going to go with a bushy mustache instead of a pencil mustache.
Ah.
Mix up the frog
The kind of
vibes.
mustache you can picture going hump.
Yes. Yes.
He kind of does a little bit of a bow and just says, Lord Leapfrog,
Lord
what brings you here at this hour?
Lord Leapfrog returns an elegant bow and says, Lord Worthington, I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me.
Oh, please. My mother is the lady of the house, however, I have not earned the title of Lord. But
He scoffs and turns and rests his hand on a windowsill, looking out on the grounds of the Worthington estate.
and I feel like Niles kind of looks past him like, what is he looking at? Like,
I imagine him, hat in one hand, just silhouetted by the evening sunlight coming through the window. Very dramatic.
Like
and
a,
he's
I
a
mean, he has
frog.
like a...
A
He has
painter
the-
just appears out of nowhere and just starts sketching it out really, like, way too quickly on a canvas.
Niles just remembers a portrait he once saw of Lord Leapfrog where he's posed exactly like this. He's like, huh, I see it.
He turns back from the window to look Niles in the face and says, Every person in Pearlsfield is aware that your mother is no head of the Worthington estate, certainly not worthy of being called the lady of the house. Lord Worthington, that role is only suitable for a moral gentleman such as yourself. And that is why I must speak with you today.
Very well, I'm listening. Very kind of you to say.
He takes a deep breath and takes a step forward. What's he going to talk about, you guys?
When he takes a deep breath, does his, like, frog neck blow out?
Yes, it does. He's halfway across the room, and yet when he breathes in, like, the neck almost touches Niles.
No.
Like, yeah, that's... I shan't mention it.
It would be rather rude.
Yeah, Niles is just like, ugh.
But we've got a couple scandals that he could be here to talk about. I want to know, Peanut Gallery, what do you think he's here to talk about? And are you willing to spend a resolve token from the scandal board to make it happen?
I'll spend a token to have him address the scandal with Niles about him and Tiana
Ooh.
to see if there's any truth to the matter.
Yes. Perfect.
I'll co-sign that.
All right. Remove that check mark for me. I think you just removed the whole scandal as well.
Yeah, I think it gets spent when you do that.
So he steps forward, hat in one hand, his other hand grasping his coat.
He knows you'll tell the truth.
Lord Worthington, I'm sure you can assume why I am here.
Just blank stares.
He's very hard to read because he's a frog. His face doesn't emote. Just two big bulbous eyes. Like, I can't read this guy.
And a big, bushy mustache.
Just eyes and mustache, that's all you see.
Any trace of a smile?
Not under that mustache. You
any
can't see
trace-
that mouth.
Any trace of a frown? No.
He, like, licks his eyeball. Is that a tell?
So what do you say? I'm sorry.
He's here
Use
to
the middle of
talk
a
about
sentence.
his daughter, Tiana.
Yes. We had a brief, albeit pleasant correspondence.
That's not the... Oh boy.
Wait, what would... No. He wrote Baron Leapfrog a while ago, didn't he?
No, he wrote to
didn't write-
Tiana at the start of the week of last week. He wrote to Tiana about their parents fighting
Oh, yes.
So that's what Niles says, and Lord Leapfrog takes a deep
what a
breath
terrible answer.
and looks away and says, "My Tiana is truly the finest young lady in all of Deepwell."
No, they're not from Deepwell. They're from Gold Dig.
That is what Mumsy was wondering, if they were from Gold Dig, and she was wrong. Changing it. Yeah.
Not to be associated with the Gold Dig Leapfrogs. That's a very different part of the family.
Yes.
Yes.
That's Leapfrog with a hyphen.
Yes. She seems like a absolutely gracious and marvelous lady. He still has no idea what's going on.
And I am sure you are aware that she does currently, as my only child, hold the inheritance to the baronage. He stares at you.
His massive eyes just like roll from one side, like I'm looking out the window, and they just roll slowly to look back at Niles.
They make a little squeaky sound as they blink.
Yeah, when they blink, they like sink down in his head the way they do with frogs.
Of course.
Half of Niles' pauses are just him being entirely put off from this conversation by this bizarre frog man. The other half of the pauses are him trying to figure out if he's in trouble or not.
Yes, it's so much of that. It's terrible improv, but it's what's happening. Yes, of course. Yes, Anne.
He then says, "Let me speak frankly with you, Lord Worthington. My Tiana has experienced serious heartbreak in recent months. I do not wish to see her toyed with again for her title. I do not presume to say that you, a man of the cloth, a moral, upstanding citizen, would at all be interested in her simply for her title. But I do wish to know what your intentions with my daughter are."
Okay. He doesn't say that. This is saying that. All right. In Miles' mind right now, it's definitely it's one of those moments in an anime where the character is screaming at the screen, but their mouth isn't moving. It's a hardcore anime moment right now where he's freaking out on the inside, but it's just not showing on his face. His eyes are just wide and his teeth are gritted. But he's going to try very, very hard to be sly right now. Yes, that. Well, as you know, my mother is a difficult woman to contain, especially when it comes to upholding our family name. Would you agree?
He nods, which is sort of like his chin sinking into his body.
The mustache just bobs.
And as you know, our dear father passed away several years ago because of a terrible accident regarding a donkey fighting a horse.
That's the lore.
As you know,
He was attempting
on
to
his horse.
breed a new type of mule. The whole situation backfired on him.
They were not happy. They hated each other.
As you know, he was a strong man, but not stronger than a hoof and another hoof.
And a third hoof.
And then a third.
And a third hoof. And then, once the children saw him and started throwing stones, it was over.
This is my new favorite.
They say
for this.
They say he died of embarrassment.
But also blunt force trauma to the head.
It's a difficult combination.
Lord Leapfrog pulls out a handkerchief and dabs at his eyes and also at his wet skin. He just starts dabbing.
So, if you will,
It's not a.
I consider my mother's actions to be the proverbial hoofs against my father's head, which is my proverbial family. All this is deadpan, of course.
Yeah,
And as you understand, if I was there that day, I would have used my hand to get between the hoof and his soon-to-be fractured skull. But alas, I was not. And so I take moments like this to put my proverbial hand in front of the proverbial hoof, no matter what pain it may cause me, if only to save my family. And I know your daughter's a gracious and lovely high lady, but, as you know, my love is not for any single woman except the author. And he kind of like presses his hand and points up.
He does like the chest bump, the peace sign to the sky.
Which is a religious symbol here.
The triangle arrow pendant on his neck gleams.
That's this universe's version of the sign of the cross
just
is doing
bump.
Yeah. However, while I regret to inform you that my intentions are not romantic, they were sheerly to protect my family. I also know you to be a man of honor. And
Licks eyeball.
The other one this time. Smack!
And I know you would do anything to protect the pale, slimy face of your daughter.
It's a compliment in this case.
Another
Yes, it
nod, and this
definitely
one, like,
is.
his whole body kind of goes up and down. Like,
Yes, like, with her sparse, albeit fine like linen hair. Fine like silk, I guess. White.
It's like he's saying all of this assuming that she is also a frog person, but for some reason she just is like a regular.
I think he genuinely has seen her. This is
Yes,
Sam
yes.
editorializing. This is not him like taking a wild swing and guessing.
That would be so funny, though.
She was adopted. She is a gnome.
she takes after her mother's side of the family. Unicorns.
I've heard from multiple burrows of her ability to jump 30 to 45 feet in a single bound. Her ability to squash pumpkins with one hand.
She was a champion in the Junior Olympics in several fields.
And as much pain as I'm willing to endure to prevent hardships from my family, I would do much to prevent hardships from your family. And so while I don't want this to become a scandal, I remain dedicated, sir, to my duty.
Too late.
But am willing to take any sort of social embarrassment to avoid any fallout upon yours. And while I know this is not the answer you would have wanted, I certainly hope, sir, that you can respect it. And he glares at him and hopes for the best.
He slowly inflates his neck pouch, and he sticks out his hand for a handshake.
He shakes it firmly.
Firm handshake is returned, and he says, Lord Worthington, it's truly a shame that there is not a fine young lady in your future. I'm sure the women of Pearlsfield are deeply saddened.
Kind of a backhanded compliment.
Yeah.
I think seriously, when he says that, there is an inner realization for Niles, like, yep, that's true. I appreciate your condolences.
I apologize.
But
I
a well-lived
sincerely...
life is its own reward, I would argue, and hopefully will be proven right.
Members of the cloth are not forbidden from marriage, and if you do change your mind about my Tiana, you need only write, and I will put in a good word for you. And he winks one eye, or you think he winks, but also maybe
Could
he's
be a
just
blink, who
blinking
knows?
one eye right now.
I appreciate your concern. Well, I appreciate your
Candor.
gentility. He kind of like looks Paxton to Reginald and kind of like looks to Reginald for affirmation. Reginald's kind of like shrugs like ignominy. Ignominy?
Try candor, sir.
Candor, sir.
Yeah, Reginald is like looking at a pocket-sized thesaurus.
Fancy talk thesaurus.
The courtly thesaurus.
Courtly thesaurus. Oh no. Lord Leapfrog gives another elegant bow and says, "Thank you for your time, Lord Worthington."
Reginald, please feed the Lord's horses and retrofit any wheels that need to be retrofitted.
Oh, that won't be needed. We are staying here in Pearlsfield for the time.
Yes. Well, then you must
handling some
allow.
business.
Please allow us to pay for your bills. You came all the way to do the trouble.
No,
We'd love to.
that won't be necessary. But perhaps you would do me the honor of joining my family for dinner.
Of course, would be happy to.
Lovely. Good night.
Yes.
Good night.
Good night.
Licks eyeball.
And he pads his way out with his sticky feet.
Little wet splashing.
Splick, splick,
And as
splick.
soon as the door closes, it's just Reginald and Niles in the room, and they both kind of shrug at each other, like, I don't know. Like, that was a close one. Huh. And he kind of walks back and like waddles back to the table and sits down.
So how'd it go, buddy?
Well, it went. I think it went well. Yeah.
There's an angry fork sound as Mother just like lets her fork scrape the plate a little bit.
No, Mother, that's not
It's-
necessary.
It's like Mr. Incredible shattering the plate with his knife.
yeah.
All right.
Can I
I'm
help
sure
you?
No, Fred says, I'm sure if it were really important, he would have gone to you, Mother. I'm sure he just wanted to talk to Niles about something.
Is everything all right, Mother?
Everything is peachy.
She hates peaches. That's not good.
She's allergic to those.
The P word.
Peaches.
Lord Leapfrog just had some family business he needed to see taken care of, and I spoke to him and I ironed it out.
Georgiana's eyes sparkle from across the table. She says nothing. She just raises an eyebrow and gives a little smile.
And from now on, next time you want to use the family credit card, let me know. You can just I don't know what the equivalent to like the credit card is in that system.
The family checkbook.
Yeah,
Yes, that one.
Yeah, let's say in the next couple of days you do get a letter from the bank saying that things have
He's
been
like-
moved over as was appropriate as you have taken on the headship of the household. It's just what's been
He likes
going
after
around.
he-
So
After he
now
says
do I
that he-
erase my tags so I'm no longer kind, moral, or devoted?
I mean, that's still like what people think of you as, but they're no longer like points, I think, but don't erase them yet just in case. I'll go
Okay.
dig through the rulebook and make sure.
Okay, sweet.
But maybe just put like marks by them.
He like crams all of the food into his mouth and then leaves the dinner with the father just under his arm.
That's exactly what happens.
Fantastic. And that's how the scene ends. Lovely. We are going to enter our second epistolary phase of this cycle of play and get ready for upkeep, which we'll probably start our next chapter with. Dylan had to hop out because he wasn't feeling super well, but he will be back with us next time. So let's do a couple letters. Again, you can do up to 2 letters from your main character or your connection, and you can request letters, but you do not have to do any if you don't feel it's fitting. Sam, are you ready for your letter, or do you need some time? Because I have one.
I have 2. I can do one, and you can do one, I can do one, because I have a... All right, my
Yeah.
first one is from Vlad. What is the name of the people who came into the house earlier that week?
The bugbear and the dwarf.
Yes, I need a family name.
Which, if you don't know what a bugbear looks like, they're these furry goblinoids. They don't look super goblin-y other than having big ears. They're kind of like bears mixed with goblins, and they're very fuzzy and furry and cute. I think they're really cute. Anyway, so those two, they were courting. They were not yet wed. The bugbear is Mr. I'm trying to think of a good goblinoid name. Mr.
McPherson.
Mr. McPherson. And Miss Nickelback. Just trying to think of like something
now she has to
metal,
die.
something
Nuh-uh.
like iron, and I thought of nickel, and then I was like Nickelback of the gold dig Nickelbacks.
Well, so one guy, the guy was drained, right? Mm-hmm. Did he die?
Nah, he lived.
Like, how does...
They got him into the basement, and it was kind of chill for a bit, and then she was like, oh, wait, Mr. Nickelback is, like, dying. This isn't just a weird greeting like we thought it was. So she punched Vlad right in the eye and carried Mr.
I do need to know-
What was his
yeah.
name again?
McPherson.
McPherson. Mr. McPherson, out there.
So, for the record, this is important. Does Vlad need to kill someone to feed?
No.
Because I feel like in some vampire stories, it's just like each need to like suck some of their blood and they feel woozy. And in some, it's just like, I'm going to rip their whole throat out, and that's the only way that I'll be okay. Like, it's kind of weird.
I think vampire stories where they have to just totally murder someone are lame. I think that's
Fair.
boring. We're going with
kind of
like
defeats the metaphor.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so he got what he needed. And because... Does he secretly need to murder people? Okay, he doesn't need to. So that's just to be clear. Sweet. Okay, it's to both of them then, because I imagine that Mr. McPherson took ill and is being cared for by Miss Nickelback. Dear
Penny Nickelback is her full name.
There are several attempts to write their names, and like scratched out. Like half the page is dedicated to writing their names incorrectly. But when he finally gets it, it goes, "My sincerest apologies for the incident that happened last..." It like scratched out several days. Tuesday.
Is it spelled correctly or like our Tuesday?
It's like our Tuesday.
Yeah, it's like our,
Why would you spell something like this?
When I slipped and fell on your gentleman suitor, I was unable to get my teeth out, which made for quite a silly and spontaneous situation. The several gallons of blood he lost are regrettable. And he puts in parentheses, but I do ask that you pay for our laundromat. If you would like, comma. I'm thinking like I'm dictating to Siri.
This is him dictating to Pierre.
It is.
Pierre
Yeah.
just does
No,
it
don't write
exactly.
Yeah, this is exactly. No, do not write that. Don't put that in there. Do you have a drink? No drink? That's sad. Back to the letter. If you would like, I would love for you both to come over for another dinner where hopefully there will be fewer accidents. Period. That's it. I think that was a pretty good letter. What do you think, Pierre? Question mark. Why did I say that? Why are you writing? The letter is done. We just want them to come back. Stop it, Pierre. XOXOXO, Vlad de Baguette.
P.S. Please read it back to me. Yeah.
Amazing. I imagine this is brought to Miss Nickelback while she is by the bedside of Mr. McPherson.
McPherson.
And she turns from dabbing his fuzzy forehead, but it's just all eyebrow, with a damp cloth, and she pulls it back and it's covered with fur. And she turns...
We're invited to another dinner! Like...
Great.
Actually, I'm going to spend the... I keep forgetting what they're called. The token? The...
Resolve token?
Resolve token from Ephraim is a secret prince.
Oh.
I'm going to spend that token. And
It actually kind of plays into my letter.
Ooh, that you have planned?
Yeah.
Should I wait?
Yes. I mean, it's not like exactly like that just adds a new layer to the letter, so you can still spend it.
Okay, because I'm going to spend it, and as she reads it with her sister, it's another metal name. We got Penny Nickelback.
Ingeton.
I was thinking Gilda, because it's like gilded.
That's good.
Inga. Just say Inga.
Gilda and Inga, her two sisters.
Yeah.
Ah, yes.
They read it together, and Inga looks to Penny and says, "Oh no, and aren't they staying at Prince Ephraim's new home? This horrible Vlad, this, I can't even say it." And she turns away, and Gilda says, "I can. He's a werewolf. Clearly. And he's here to prey on our Prince Ephraim. We've got to save him." And Penny crumples up the letter, and she says, "And take revenge for my sweet Mr. McPherson. We're all going to this dinner, ladies." And we'll cut away from there.
We have to roleplay that.
So Ephraim is writing a letter to... I can't decide if it should be a letter to Tiana Leapfrog or Baron Leapfrog.
Baron Leapfrog is Lord Leapfrog's father.
Okay.
He's back in
dang.
Deepwell.
Okay, so Lord Leapfrog. It is essentially he's finagling. He's trying to finagle an invite to the same dinner that Niles got invited to.
Nice.
So I guess he's going to he's sending a flattering letter to Tiana Leapfrog, having perhaps overheard from maybe some of the other servants at Worthington Estate that some details of the conversation that went down between Niles and Lord Leapfrog.
If you want to make it a guaranteed success, or even pull more strings, make more things happen, you could spend a resolve token, or even spend one from a scandal if you think you can twist that scandal to get you an invite.
So we spent the one from Tiana and Niles, right?
Yes, but we still have Lady Worthington having a falling out with Baron Leapfrog, if you think you could twist that somehow. Or Lady Worthington being a lush.
Right.
I don't know if that one's fading at all. That
one's spread. That's why he would be able to use the resolve token.
That's gone from rumor to fact.
So there's two angles that he could approach this, right? Maybe he does both angles, honestly.
You can just use the resolve token to do something else extreme. Not extreme, but like,
He sends a flattering letter to Tiana Leapfrog, and just some flowery poetry, and at the same time sends a letter to Lord Leapfrog claiming to have some info about, basically claiming to have some dirt on Lady Worthington for his father, the Baron, with whom she had a falling out.
Ooh. I will have you spend that token from the scandal and
it is spent.
Get yourself an invite to the family dinner. Ooh, we've got two more we've got two dinners. I wonder if we can combine them somehow. I wonder if they'll get combined. But anyway.
Maybe he offers to host it.
Which one does? Lord Leapfrog or Vlad?
Ephraim offers to host the dinner at his.
Oh, what if
home.
Instead he's just hosting a whole different dinner?
Maybe he has like a sketchy estate between the two cities, the two towns, and he invites everyone to it.
No, he has
his country home.
He has a home in Pearlsfield, and that's where everyone is at right now. Mr. McPherson and the Pearlsfield Nickelbacks all live in Pearlsfield. The Leapfrogs are currently visiting Pearlsfield. We don't know where they're staying right now. Not to be affiliated with the Gold Dig Leapfrogs, who are, again, gnomes. And do not have a lordship or a baronage. Stop getting them confused.
Are hyphenated.
They are hyphenated. That's positive or negative.
Yeah, so he's basically playing two different angles on the Leapfrogs to get invited to, or I think he's using these angles to host the Leapfrogs at his own estate in Pearlsfield. So the dinner that Niles got invited to is being moved to Ephraim's estate.
If you want to move that dinner entirely, I'm going to say spend a resolve token.
Okay, yeah, I'll spend both.
Yeah. I like it. That dinner has been relocated.
This is like Ephraim's first major play since showing up in Pearlsfield.
Wheeling and dealing, getting Lord Leapfrog over for dinner is a big deal.
He's accomplishing like 3 or 4 different things in this one swoop.
It's pretty good. I've got a letter for Ephraim.
Okay.
It's a letter from his mother. I imagine he goes back home after dinner on that first day dinner, to find that, does he have a servant? I'm sure he has a servant or two in his home.
It's Pierre, probably.
Oh, yeah, Pierre. Oh, and Dylan's sick.
It just borrows Pierre from...
So Vlad will give him the letter instead, because Pierre is sick right now.
Yeah.
I have something for you. No, not that, you idiot. Get the letter. No, ça fâche pas. Comment dit-on, you say, you're not a celiac, no?
No.
He puts the bread in some... He puts the letter in some bread. He gets words hard sometimes. Here is a letter. Ignore the dough and the gluten and the gluten on it. Slightly German. And then forget about it. He kind of just tosses it on the table and walks away with.
There's some flour and dough.
He's just
his fingers are just on his temples, like, oh wait, deal with these things.
Ephraim picks up the letter and he just flicks it to knock all of the flour off of it. Just thumps
It's
it a couple
now
of times.
canon that Pierre has a difficulty differentiating between the letters, the words dough and letter. Just for some reason, those two just get really mixed up. It's hard.
Oh, Pierre.
Oh, Pierre.
That Pierre. Yeah, Ephraim just picks up the letter and just like thumps the flour off of it and then cracks the seal.
It's a fairly thick envelope, as letters from your mother always are. There's lots of news about home, way too many stories and details about the family, which, I don't know, does Ephraim usually read every dot and iota, or does he tend to skim these things?
I think he would.
He'd read every detail?
Yeah. I think he probably has a soft spot for his mother.
Well, she talks about one of the boys getting sick and having to pay for the medicine, but don't you worry, like, he's better now. They got it taken care of, and...
They don't call him Lucky for nothing.
That's right. Though how the weather's been, the rain, how it makes her think of you, and she wrote this poem in her journal, and she thought you might like it, and just lots and lots of, like, it's a letter that's been written over several weeks, as these tend to be, but something takes you from the pleasant, sort of stream of consciousness of your mother's writing, and it's the mention of the name Geoffrey. Geoffrey?
His eyes, he sees that name and his eyes narrow.
Old Geoffrey Schmazos.
Schmazel.
And she says... Schmazos. Spelled S-C-H... Hold on, let me tab over. How do I spell this name? S-C-H-M-E-Z-O-S. Schmazos.
Right.
And she says she wanted to make sure that you knew that Joffrey at last has gotten engaged. Hard to imagine this boy that you grew up with finally getting engaged, and how sad she is that his mother won't be able to see the wedding.
He's like reading the part that you're saying out loud now, and he just like fast forwards through it until he finds the name of the person that he's engaged to.
Let's see, what's the name?
You hear the voiceover narration scramble like it's being actually fast forwarded.
Help me come up with a random lady. It's some highfalutin lady.
Lady
Anna Kendrick.
Lady Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, the last name is Anna Kendrick. one word.
One word. Lady Anna Kendrick.
Lady Banana Anna Kendrick. Sorry, that's dumb.
No. Her first name isn't Banana, but she is heir to a banana fortune from the coast.
Yeah, of course.
It's from
The
another...
Banana Anna Kendricks?
That's right. She is very wealthy, very well-to-do. Do you go back to some of the parts you skipped over?
I think his reverie is spoiled by the mention of Jeffrey Schmazos.
There's even the name is mentioned specifically in a newspaper clip. There's this new newspaper thing that's been spreading, and this is from a Capital newsletter that she managed to get her hands on, and it's got like actual, print, typewriter print, but then in the little picture, it's like a medieval style drawing of this guy and this lady, this very like goofy
like
medieval, but the face of the man is super realistic, and it's like chiseled. He has this swooping hair and this perfect little beard, and he's got this gleam in his eyes. This annoying gleam.
She included the newspaper clipping. Okay. I think he kind of stops. He reads the newspaper clipping, and he folds the letter up carefully and sets it aside with the rest of the letters from his mother. And he takes the newspaper clipping and he very carefully and painstakingly folds it into a paper airplane and then he just like slumps back in his chair and just throws the paper airplane straight into the fireplace.
Nice. As it sizzles up for a moment, the last things we see surrounded by embers is the chiseled and handsome face of Lord Schmezos, and the title that has burnt down from the full title to just
Schmezos marries into Banana Fortune.
Schmezos goes bananas. Schmezos goes bananas.
Schmezos goes bananas.
I was trying to think of how to do it, but it wasn't going to be as funny because I was thinking like local hot lord, like in the title, like he's called like super hot, fiery, smoking hot,
super hunk Schmezos goes bananas.
Yeah. And it just burns down to smoking hot.
I have not listened. So when I listened to episode 0, I skipped past the part where I find out about the backstories because I wanted to keep it secret for the sake of listening. I have no idea what's going on here. From my perspective, all that I know is that Ephraim is really jealous of somebody who looks a little bit better than he does. Like, that is his entire, villain origin story is somebody looked better than he did in high school, and he's not gotten over it. That's all I know.
A man with that kind of last name cannot be better looking than me.
Oh, man.
Hi, no last name Ephraim. It's me, Joffrey Schmezos.
Guess what I like? Bananas.
He thinks just because he can afford peck implants that he's better than I am.
Amazing.
Peck enchantments.
Yeah, peck enchantments.
I have thaumaturgy embedded into my pecs, so not only can I make them bounce, but then it thunder
They
sounds.
shoot fireworks.
They shoot fireworks out of my pectorals. The ladies don't like it, but it's really fun at parties for everyone else.
My fiance tells me to stop it, but I don't.
I don't respect her opinion. I don't have to. I'm Joffrey Schmezos.
This is the best character.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I like how both Frederick and Niles' connections are both serious actual characters that are well, I guess John Willoughby isn't, but I mean 3 out of 4 are just real characters who have real personalities, and then meanwhile Ephraim's are both these ridiculous cartoon characters.
Ephraim the straight man just has these weirdos.
Yeah.
Ooh, I think Sam, you had another letter. Is it a quick one?
Oh my gosh.
Or should we save it for next time?
No, it's very quick. It's a good note to end
All right.
on. Literally. So it's in a fancy new letterhead that you can tell is recently ordered, and at the very top it just says in fine print, from the desk of Reverend Lord, well, I don't know what the order would be.
Lord Reverend? That feels right.
Lord Reverend Niles Worthington IV. Which, it's not super expensive, but you could tell, he was very excited to order it. He did not pay top dollar, but was I definitely want to.
Also, I don't know if we mentioned this in episode 0, but I like that Dylan is somehow Frederick Worthington III and Sam is Niles Worthington IV.
He just wanted to outdo his.
Yeah.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
Something about the elves.
family
Something
names.
something
Just
elves.
one little petty thing that Niles let himself do.
I like the idea that maybe when they were teenagers, he went into the family library and found the family tree, and the last Niles Worthington was 200 years ago, but there was, if you go back 3,000 years in our family timeline, there were 3 ones before me. They may have been several generations in between where they never knew each other,
Right.
but I am the 4th. It started off as petty and now it's just a thing. But anyway, it has it's just very dignified but minimalist as to not waste too much money, but it's a small extravagance he granted himself.
Mm-hmm.
And it just is addressed very officially to Miss Georgiana, what's her last name?
Dennison.
Miss Georgiana Dennison. Miss Dennison, comma. It appears, with the recent overabundance in our harvest of pearly cotton, the Pearlsfield Worthingtons are in need of a company to process our overabundance period. It will incur an unfortunate cost on our end, but will nevertheless prove profitable for whomever assists us.
Whomst ever.
Whatever.
No, that's definitely not correct. It's just funny.
He's writing, and then Father just says, whomst ever. No, it's not.
It's not a word.
We humbly ask for your assistance in exchange for a commensurate sum. Our apologies for our last-minute endeavor and inconvenience. I hope you can oblige. Sincerely, Lord Reverend Worthington IV.
Nice.
Signed, yeah.
How does he...
And then he just writes, below that, Niles.
How does he get the letter to her?
I feel like you'd want to mail it in the most official way possible. Like, the most professional, even though there's no... Like, you could have just hand-delivered it, it would have been fine. But, like, it's definitely, like, whatever, through the postage that... I mean, he wouldn't care if it was seen as public, because it looks very professional. It's like, oh, wow, they're getting a great public deal. What would that look like in the town of Pearlsfield? I don't know what the mailing looks like there. And you're the facilitator.
I mean...
So that sounded rude. I didn't mean to be rude.
And you're the facilitator. Make it work.
No, I have no idea what Regency-era mail systems were like.
I mean, I'm sure things were carried by carriage in between towns. But in town, there probably would be couriers on horseback as well as on foot. If you wanted this to be public to help... Or do you want this to be public, or do you want this to be private? Because she did come to you in confidence about the fire and the lack of funds.
Yeah, well, he's also phrasing it in a way where it doesn't indicate they need help. It's more like, oh, hey, we really need your help. Like, we know you're professionals, and this is a small job for you. And it's a bit tongue-in-cheek between the two of them, but someone reading it wouldn't really see it as such, I imagine. Really, what it is serving as is him basically giving her free money to do like this really easy job. But only they would understand the importance of that. Anyone in Pearlsfield who would have heard the news would be like, "Wow, she's pouring money into our town to help us out. That's awesome of her." And I think Niles is the only one looking at the money side of it. I don't feel like Frederick or Mother would be. Would care to even look at these spreadsheets. But if you were to look, you could clearly see that they're getting the raw end of the deal. And he's more than fine with that.
I think...
Because it's Georgiana.
I think she is either getting things set up for or is starting those sewing classes in Pearlsfield. I'm trying to think of where she would set that up.
It'd be like outside the church. Like, I imagine the church is up on a hill with the parsonage behind it and like a nice little, like, subtle, like, graveyard. That sounds really scary, but like...
Graveyards are lovely.
Yeah. And I feel like there's probably a courtyard where she can be having it, where he'd let her host it.
Yeah, she's walking around, helping ladies get set up and get started on their work. When a little courier boy runs up, maybe a boy, maybe a man, because it's a little goblin guy. And he's got a bird nest on his head as he runs up with a satchel.
Oh, you're doing a different throwback. I was going to say, can we make him a gnome with a New Zealand accent? But no, what you're doing is...
Dang. One day. But yeah, a goblin with a nest on his head runs up with his satchel.
What does he say, Cam?
I'm looking for a Georgiana Dennison.
Oh, yes, that's me.
I acquired this letter for you.
The little, like, postal service badge on his vest kind of, like, goes crooked.
It's crooked. It's still got a piece of, like, a scrap piece of the uniform, like, stuck to it.
What gets me is that you're acting like you stole this. Like, you're like, I acquired this. like
I needed a part-time job, so I took it.
No. The implication being that he robbed the postman and then has decided to deliver some of the mail anyways.
I imagine there's like a boy whose route he took, who's just like sitting on the side of the road, like crying.
He's just got a black eye.
I love that the pile has become so peaceful that you've resorted to
mail fraud,
lightly mugging local townsfolk and doing their jobs for them.
I want to experience town life, and you're going to let me.
I feel
Bam!
You like just punch out a farmer. No, I'm gonna cut down that wheat for you. You're not gonna do it, sucker.
Okay.
I think he probably like mugged the post boy and then got halfway down this, like met back up with Gorfit, and Gorfit was just like gave him the disappointed face, and he's like, fine, I'll deliver some of the mail.
Some of it.
I feel like the post boy had to been like one of those like really like lazy teenagers. You get frustrated because he's not doing the job right, and so you're like, oh, this ticks me off. Let me do it. Like this toxic efficiency.
Toxic efficiency. Georgiana takes the letter and says, "Oh, thank you," and gives him a silver piece.
Nice. And he just puts it in his pocket and like takes off. Like before he even gets out of like eyesight, he just like takes the satchel off and just chucks it in a bush and just runs off.
Georgiana has turned her back at that point and didn't see and open the letter. And I imagine we see from over her shoulder, we see the ladies like sewing and tittering and laughing, and we see Georgiana read the letter and just smile, hold it to her chest as she looks back at the lady sewing. And that's where our scene ends. Our chapter ends.
Hey, Gorfit, drinks are on me.
Cue the exit music.
Not again.
Hey everybody, Cam here. Thanks for listening to Minions and Misfits. If you like what you heard, don't forget to check out our socials. The links are down in the description. And please, leave us a review on whatever app you use to listen to your podcast. It'll help us reach more people who can enjoy the episode that you just listened to. See you next time.